Hi, this is Samantha with Glue Dots, and we've got our blog exchange with our blog hop with Lindsay's Stamp Gang and with Basic Gray. And so I've got this album that I'm putting together, and I've got another video on how to put this envelope album together. If you hadn't seen that, you can go back and check that out. But I want to do the cover of my album, and you can see my album is quite white, and I'm going to be working with the Basic Gray Carte Postale paper line, which is a little more vintagey, so I want to add a little color to the edges of my album. I'm going to do that with some of the Lindsay Stamp Gang Starburst, and the Starburst has some nice mica to it, so it's got this really great shimmer to it. And I chose Jack in the Pulpit Teal for this one, and I've been playing around with this a little bit, this technique a little bit, so you can see I've got some on here already, but I've got a nice inking sponging tool. You can use any sponge you like. I just prefer the ones with the handles. Lindsay Stamp Gang sprays come to you with just the powder in powdered form without the liquid added to it yet. There's some reasons for that. One of the nicest ones is it keeps the shipping costs down. You can, when you get these, then there's instructions, and the instructions are pretty basic. You just fill to the fill line on here with water, and you get a nice shiny beautiful mist out of that then, or shimmery mist out of this then. I did that last night. They recommend that you give about 10 minutes at least for it to dissolve all that mica, so I did it last night. And since I did it last night, sometimes that likes to settle to the bottom like any mist does, so you're going to give it a little bit of a shake before you use it. And I am going to, instead of spraying it onto my album, I want a little bit more control this time, so I'm going to spray it onto my sponge. You can see what I did there. And I'm going to use it just along the edges of my album to sponge on a little extra color. And this Jack in the Pulpit Teal is a really beautiful color that goes really well with the Carte Postale line, but with lots of the teal colors that are really popular right now as well. And there's really no wrong way to do this. Looks like I dripped a little on a page down below. That's alright, we'll cover that up or add more to it later. Now I'm going to go back and layer up some papers on here, and I'll come back and show you how that's done. I've got some matte papers and things I'm going to layer on here, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. But inking the edges is just as simple as that, and what I like about this, instead of using your standard ink off of your ink pads, is this has a great shimmer to it because of those micas in the spray. Alright, and I did a little sewing and layering up, and I'm just going to show you how I'm going to finish up the cover of this book then. I decided to do the same technique with a little bit of a brown color called Cadbury Milk Chocolate, yum, right around the edges of this as well. I use the same sponge. I don't know if you can see, all I did was spray directly onto my sponge really close for a little small spot here, and went right around the edge. So with this technique you can get a really thin area or a really thick area depending on what you're going for. I am going to grab some permanent glue dots. These are the ones you can find at Walgreens, other places too, but these are the ones you can find at Walgreens for those of you looking for those. What I really like about glue dots, and you could use the ultra thin or the craft for this as well, but when you have something kind of lumpy bumpy like I've been sewing on here, I can use the exact same adhesive as I'd use to do something super flat as well. Glue dots work so well to hold anything down, lumpy, bumpy, super flat, things that don't grip well, vellums and plastics and things and acetates. Works really well for all of that. In fact, I'm going to use some on a piece of cork here. Since this is sort of a travel memorabilia, I'm going to add a little cork tag to it as well. And I think I want this here. I'm going to pull it over just a little bit there. And you can see I'm using the same adhesive on my cork as I do on my basic gray carte postale paper. It's awesome. I don't have to switch and find different things in between. And I'm going to go at a bit of an angle here. And ta-da! I've got some room to add some letters here if I want, you know, memorabilia album, travel memorabilia. But that is the sponging on with mist techniques and how that looks when you put it together with an entire piece.